The Huawei Mate 40 Pro is currently the only Android smartphone on the market to incorporate 5nm process node technology within its chipset, but can it keep up with the all-powerful gaming-centric Asus ROG Phone 3 in a speed test? While the ROG phone still packs a punch with the Snapdragon 865 Plus processing chip run on 7nm plus technology, the Mate 40 Pro steps up the game with its almighty 5nm processed Kirin 9000 CPU. Otherwise, their specs are fairly similar. They both have LPDDR5 RAM, though the ROG phone has 12 gigs of it, while the Huawei has 8 gigs. They also both have UFS 3.1 storage. The Huawei has a 90Hz panel, while the ROG can go all the way up to 160Hz, and I have dropped the resolution of the Mate 40 Pro to standard to match that of the ROG Phone 3. The ROG phone will have X mode as well as OptiFlex enabled, while the Huawei will have performance mode enabled, and we've disabled all battery optimizations for all the apps used in this test. We'll be leaving animations on both devices over here. Round 1 will be all about boot, fingerprint and face unlock. Round 2 will be all about initial opening of app speed, and round 3 will be about RAM management. Using my fingers over here, so to keep things accurate, we're going to pop GoPro footage at the bottom left hand corner. This is TechNick, and without further ado, let's go. We're going to kickstart things off with a simple boot in round 1 to see which one can power on faster. It is indeed the ROG Phone 3 with 15 seconds as opposed to the 22.5 seconds on the Huawei Mate 40 Pro, picking up its first points in round 1. Now the Mate 40 Pro quickly strikes back, getting its first points in round 1 when refreshing the app icons as well as its widgets quicker than the ROG phone. Now we're going to be testing out the optical fingerprint sensor underneath the displays of both devices, and bear in mind we're focusing on the wallpaper over here, not so much the icons. The animations are slower on the Mate 40 Pro, but it actually gets through to the home screen slightly quicker than the ROG phone, picking up its second points in round 1. When it comes to facial recognition, the ROG phone was quicker the first time round, and the Mate 40 Pro was quicker the other 2 times, picking up its third and final point in round 1 as opposed to 1 point in the ROG Phone 3. Making sure that we're hooked to the same Wi-Fi network, max brightness X mode is enabled on the ROG phone, max performance mode is enabled on the Mate 40 Pro, and we have all apps killed in the background. The first point gets allocated to the Mate 40 Pro when going into the settings app quicker, and it was too close to call when going into the calculator app. Next system app that we have is the camera app, and jumping into that one, the Mate 40 Pro opened up slightly quicker. Flicking to the selfie cam, even with Master AI off, the Huawei always seems to switch to portrait mode, so the ROG got the points over there. And taking the snap, the Mate 40 Pro was actually faster, but the ROG Phone 3 saved the image to gallery quicker, so no point was allocated that time around. However, the ROG Phone 3 picked up its second point and its third point when going into gallery and opening up the photo quicker as well. Going into Photoshop Express here, a photo editing app. Jumping into that one, the ROG phone has now taken a double point lead with 4 points, now 5 points as opposed to the 2 on the Mate 40 Pro after going into the photo within Photoshop, slightly faster in the Mate 40 Pro. Saving this picture to gallery, the ROG Phone 3 saved it a tad quicker, just a millisecond quicker than the Mate 40 Pro there, though still quicker, now triple the points. Going into Adobe Premiere Rush, a video editing program, the ROG Phone 3 was quicker in opening it up, getting into the project, and now it's time to render this 4K video. We're going to compress it down to 1080p and match the frame rate of 25 FPS. Look how crazy fast the Mate 40 Pro is going, not quite as quick as iPhones, but 12 seconds nevertheless is still great with UFS 3.1 storage as opposed to 19 seconds on the ROG Phone 3. Jumping into Spotify, the Mate 40 Pro is slightly quicker, now just half the points of the ROG phone with 4 points, and going into Astral VPN, since we need a VPN here in China, the ROG Phone 3 picks up its 9th point. Turning it on, neither phone gets a point because they did it at a very similar time. And going into Google Chrome, very strange things happen there. The Mate 40 Pro put it up quicker, but the ROG phone loaded the page quicker, no point allocated that time around, but the Mate 40 Pro opened and loaded the entire Facebook quicker, so it got its 5th point there, where the ROG Phone 3 picked up its 10th point when going into Instagram. The ROG Phone 3 picked up its 11th point going into Twitter, completely loading the page slightly quicker that time around, now 11 points as opposed to 5 on the new 5nm process node tech on the Mate 40 Pro. But the Mate 40 Pro quickly grabbed its 6th point now, going into YouTube slightly faster than the ROG Phone 3. That's a little bit strange since it's not really a Google enabled device. And going into my profile, actually searching it because we can't sign in on the Huawei picks up that point, but the ROG Phone 3 gets to my profile slightly quicker, so still a 5-point lead for the ROG Phone 3. The Mate 40 Pro does indeed play the video and load the entire page faster than the ROG Phone 3, however, getting it its 8th point, now just 4 points behind, now just 3 points behind, going into Netflix quicker, but the ROG Phone 3 went into my profile slightly faster that time around, getting it its 13th point. Going into our first benchmark of of 2 Geekbench 5. It was too close to call when opening up the app. I'm going to speed things up bottom right hand corner. I'll slow them slightly down when one phone wins, and that phone is the Huawei Mate 40 Pro with 2 minutes 37 seconds, and the ROG phone got 2 minutes 45.5 seconds, and the scores honestly weren't too different, but nevertheless the Huawei picked up its 10th point, just 3 points behind the ROG phone 3. And the next benchmark is 3D Mark Wildlife. Going into that one, the ROG phone 3 opened it up slightly quicker, but the Mate 40 Pro loaded it faster, so no point was allocated that time around. Now we're going to go ahead and go through this benchmark and see which one can do it quicker, as well as the higher frames per second count. We actually got 1 minute 13 seconds on both devices, never had that one before, but I gave the point to the Mate 40 Pro since it had a score of over 6,000, where the ROG had a score of just over 4,000. The Mate 40 Pro also got an FPS of 39.2, while the ROG got 24.9. Our next game here, well actually our first game of 4 is Subway Surfers, which the ROG phone 3 snags up its 14th point, now with a 3-point lead once more against the Huawei Mate 40 Pro. And the third last game over here, third last app of the 20 Temple Run 2, sped it up, slowed it back down, it is the ROG phone 3 for the win, getting it its 15th point, now widening the gap between it and the Huawei Mate 40 Pro. Going into Among Us, a game that we've all come to enjoy and love, the Mate 40 Pro surprisingly opens it up quicker, but just a tad quicker at that. I had to allocate the point, 12 points as opposed to 15 on the ROG phone 3. Last game over here, last app of the 20, last game of the 4, PUBG Mobile. Let's see which one can get into it faster. The ROG phone 3 for sure, gaming centric. Okay, I'll give you that one, 14.5 seconds as opposed to 18.5 seconds on the Mate 40 Pro. Wrapping up round 2 with 16 points on the ROG phone 3 as opposed to 12 on the brand spanking new 5nm process node Kirin 9000 chip on the Mate 40 Pro. Running through RAM management here in round 3, as you can see I haven't allocated a point so far, and that is because they're keeping all the apps open in the background. Neither phone is killing any of these apps, which is absolutely superb. Whether you have 8 gigs on the Huawei or 12 gigs on the ROG, the thing to note here is the LPDDR5 RAM, which both of them have, and they're both doing an exceptional job at keeping all apps open in the background, ready to jump straight back into. Total score here, 15 for the Huawei Mate 40 Pro as opposed to 17 on the ROG phone 3. An extremely close one, and I'm really surprised that the gaming-centric ROG phone 3 took the win, since it's running slightly older 7nm plus tech as opposed to the new efficient and all-powerful Kirin 9000 5nm process chip. But if we focus just on round 2, just focusing on performance here, the Huawei Mate 40 Pro got 12 points, which was beat by an extra 4 points toward the ROG phone 3 with 16 points, so the ROG phone was quite a bit quicker when it came to raw speed. And if this is the case for now, I'm truly excited to see what the Snapdragon 888 is capable of. A sub to the channel would be absolutely fantastic. This is TechNick, and I'll see you in the next one.